Hey.
See, that's really what I'm looking for. Who are the Cowboys that you've just given up on going into the last 3 games? Now, I realize that the Cowboys season is essentially over, 0.6% of making the playoffs aside. But are there players that you're like, yeah, normally I'd want to see him, but what's the point? They're not playing, or they're not going to play well, or get a reasonable amount of snaps to make a difference?
Ooh. As much as I hate to say it, Logan Wilson.
Yeah.
It feels like every time we press about why is Kenneth Murray getting snaps in the National Football League in the year of 2025 going into 2026 with how lost he looks on any given play. And Logan Wilson, we ask Jerry all the time, and he says, oh, the IQ on this guy. He knows where to be. He knows where to put people and how to line people up when things are changing on the offensive end. Yeah, we're going to get him some more playing time. And sure, they might go and start him. And this, it almost feels like the old Mike McCarthy way that maybe Shoddy kind of took from McCarthy when he was learning from him was all right, ownership wants this. I'm going to start him, but I'm not going to play him like a starter.
Right.
I'm going to get him out there on the opening possession just so people will shut up and say that, hey, he finally started. Look at that. And then I go back to the one that I really want to play. And that feels like a Matt Eberflus situation because I don't know if you've heard, Kevin, he's really good at coaching linebackers.
When is that going to show up?
I don't know if you've heard that before.
All right, calm down.
Yeah, I want to hold up the laugh track again. But, yeah, apparently that's what he's supposed to be good at, right? And Kenneth Murray was a Matt Eberflus selection. That was a guy that he said he can run this defense for me. He clearly has not. So Jerry made what I thought was a great value move, a 7th-round pick for who I think is a starting quality linebacker. Do I think he's an all-pro or a Pro Bowler in Logan Wilson? No. But I think he's a starting linebacker in the NFL. They go and acquire him, and it's almost like Eberflus saw it as a hit to his ego. Like, oh, so my guy isn't good enough? You have to go get your guy? All right. Checkmate.
Yeah.
And I hate it.
Now, this seems to be the consensus from the 972 is all of them an answer. And then from the 214, all of them. Or none of them, depending on your perspective. So, yes, I would say that is an answer. Also, I want to hear back from this person from the 469. I bet all my Christmas money on Washington beating Philadelphia on Saturday. Straight up. Was that before you found out about Jaden Daniels? How much money is all of your Christmas money? Also, why? These are all of the questions that I have. Now, I have boiled it down to 5 specific players, but to those people's points, I think all of them makes a lot of sense. And if you said a whole bunch of different names, I totally get it. I'm going to start with Terrence Steele. Look, I ran the salary cap simulation the other day, and you probably could have guessed that this was going to be one of my answers. It's Terrence Steele. We've heard about it for a while. Oh, he's gotten better, and especially with this coach and that coach, and you just haven't seen it. So he's on the list, and then the other person that is also on the list, Jonathan Mingo. I feel like, especially since you gave up a 4th-round pick. Now, you talked about only giving up a 7th round for Logan Wilson. You give up a 4th-round pick for Mingo. It feels impossible to get him out onto the field, and maybe more impossible for him to make impacts as a receiver out there. Now, the 3 others are kind of different. Like Terrence Steele, Jonathan Mingo, is like, nah, I've seen them. They make not the positive difference I need.
Sure.
The other 3 are different. Maris Leafau, Shamar James, and Sam Williams. Because I still think there's probably a future of Sam Williams with this team. I just don't think the ceiling is as high as at one point I really thought it was going to be. And then for Shamar James and Maris Leafau, the reason why I throw them in the group is I just don't think they're going to get the requisite amount of playing time that I want to see to make a difference. So I think that's totally different. I know Terrence Steele will get all of the playing time, and I don't like it. I just don't think Leafau and James will get the amount of playing time to make a difference, and that is the part that irritates me, because whenever we talk about like the young players that you would want to see out there, those are 2 of the players that I want to see out there. And if people are like, well, they're not good, I'd be like, well, neither are the linebackers we have now.
Sure.
So let's give it a shot.
And I started to wonder at some point in the season, maybe around the bye week, if I don't know if if it's coaching or what, if we're punting on Leofau a little too quick. The collective we, if you will. I saw a lot of great things last year, and I've seen some stuff even in the limited reps and special teams this year where I'm like, that's a guy that is still super rough around the edges, but everything that I want him to fix is coachable.
Yeah.
He's got the desire. He's got the speed. He's got the intangibles that I can't teach anybody to do. He loves the game more than most people. It's something that you hear like with George Pickens a lot. You know, Mr. Misunderstood is like, no, he loves football more than anything. That's why he's as wild as he is. Maris Leofau plays with that motor because he is addicted to this stuff.
Yeah.
And I want guys like that playing. Shamar James earlier in the year, whenever he got some reps because of injury, he showed, hey, I'm a rookie. I'm going to mess up sometimes, but I am a freak athlete.
And he stepped up, to your point. He stepped up when you're like, hey, we need somebody.
And I know the reason why he's not playing. Well, it's twofold. For him and Leofau, Eberflus is in save my job mode. So he's not going to play the young guys. He's going to play the guys that have experience. So I understand that. I hate it, but I understand it. But for Shamar James, in his case specifically, great blitzer. What does Matt Eberflus refuse to do?
Run the blitz.
So
I think that's going to change on this Sunday because I am Charlie Brown and Matt Eberflus is Lucy. And I know it's probably stupid, but I think this time it's going to happen. You're judging me for thinking I'm a dope, right?
I judge you a lot. You just don't really realize it.
I realize it.
I just don't want you to get my hopes up that this is going to happen because I did that after the Raiders game, where I felt like with Quinnen Williams and them going to a five-man front is already difficult to deal with in and of itself.
Sure.
If you add a 6th or 7th rusher coming down from the secondary like a Donovan Wilson, which he's been getting home a lot lately, it seems like, if you start doing stuff like that, then it's probably going to succeed, especially against a team like the Chargers, for instance. You said their offensive line can be gotten.
Oh, absolutely.
They 100% can be. So if you throw 7 bodies at them, imagine what kind of massacre is going to happen in that backfield. I just don't want to get my hopes up.
Okay, well, I have gotten my hopes up only for them to be expertly dashed all over again by the Dallas Cowboys because, unfortunately, that is what they frequently do. From the 2-1-0, Jaylen Tolbert. I wanted him to be so good, so badly, but he just doesn't seem to have made all of the pro connections that he needs. Look, exactly.
Yep.
Somebody said they forgot about him, and part of it was Kevontae Turpin passing him up, but I think the real one is not the return of Jonathan Mingo, because you see that. Those spots were available, but instead of going to Mingo, it's gone to Flanoy. And we talked about him a lot in training camp as like, man, watch out for this guy, watch out for this guy. But I feel like we'd gone through that last year as well. Sure. But you've really seen more in-game progress and connection with Flanoy. It is easy to forget that Tolbert is on this team, so much so that when I asked Stephen Jones about him on Monday, multiple people texted in and said they didn't like that question because Jaylen Tolbert didn't matter. And I'm like, man, that is a whole new level of irrelevance if people are mad because a question even got asked about you because you don't even matter to get a question asked about you. That is how far he has fallen.
That's sad because I loved his game coming out of the draft, and I thought he was going to be that next secondary receiver that you just absolutely hit on. The Cowboys have had that, at least in my lifetime. They've had some good success finding that mid-round talent that can be a true wide receiver, too. You've seen it time and again, and I thought his route running was as crisp as it could get for a day 2 pick. I thought that he was a phenomenal possession catcher of the football. And I still think he is all of that. And I know Fred brought it up yesterday with Luke Schoonmaker. I want to use that same ideology. Like, if I could have a closed-door conversation with the wide receiver coach or Shoddy or Clayton Adams, somebody that works with him every day, and say, why has this not clicked for him? Because he has the talent. He had the tape on college. I know small school and everything, but he was dominant in that small school ranking. I want to know what's just not clicking up here mentally for him because he's got all of the talent in the world, and I thought that he was going to be the next Noah Brown, you know, that would really, whenever CeeDee Lamb is getting the double coverage and George Pickens has safety help over top, you can look at Noah Brown down the sideline just streaking wide open because somebody forgot that he exists.
Now, Jaden Blue has also come up, and I understand that. And then somebody goes, man, I thought he could be like Chris Johnson or CJ2K, if you don't remember that nickname, which is freaking awesome. So that has been a tough situation, but we just got this, and I have not been tracking this. If you're interested in the Myrtle Beach Bowl, I've got an update for you.
Okay.
From 682. Hey, Kevin. I bet on Kennesaw State. Have you seen that score? F my life. And so I was thinking, I have not been keeping track of that game. Right now, the Western Michigan Broncos, early in the third quarter, lead the Kennesaw State Owls 41-0. And we're a minute and a half into the third quarter, and it was 34-0, and Western Michigan tacked on a touchdown in the first 90 seconds to make it 41-0. So I hope you did not bet all of your Christmas money on that, because I feel like you are going to lose.
Yeah.
Or have to tell everybody in your life that they were bad.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's a genius idea. Just say, hey, you sucked this year. You don't get anything. Deal with it.
Let me know how that works in your life.
I don't think it's going to work very well.
And actually, usually I have a different philosophy based on the phrase that you said. Yeah. Those people get plenty of presents.